Thank you, Carrie. How many of you have ever taken a quiz to help you better understand your leadership style? That's a pretty good number, actually. I never have. It's something that never interests me until I was forced to do it by this Pathways project. And the reason I haven't done it is because I've always assumed it would skew more towards how I perceive I lead than how I actually lead. Kind of like how when I look in the mirror, I see a distinguished older gentleman and budding silver fox. But when anybody under the age of 40 looks at me, they just see some creepy old dude. Well, I took the Pathways quiz and I tried to answer as impartially and as honestly as I could. And I think the results were pretty accurate. Um, I feel it's a pretty good representation of how I lead, or at least how I strive to lead. And the leadership attribute that I scored the highest in was coaching. Some of the traits of coaching include a leader who prepares individuals for the future by helping them build skills. This type of leader communicates with positive statements and motivates by challenging individuals. The leader excels with individuals that have yet to realize their full potential and is most effective in a one on one setting. Now, I think Pathways nailed it here. In my professional life, I much more prefer to mentor than to supervise. I want to focus on improvement and how we can help the people I'm mentoring get to the next stage of their career and achieve their goals. Similarly, in my personal life, many of you know that I coach my son's flag football and basketball teams. And with that coaching, I'm coaching nearly year round. And I find I'm most effective in that one on one setting where in practice I can focus on skills refinement and development and provide maybe a tweak in footwork here or hand placement there. And then in games, I can focus on positive reinforcement and motivation and making little tweaks as kids sit on the bench. My second highest leadership attribute was affiliative. And affiliative seems very much like the coaching attribute. An affiliative leader focuses on creating a cohesive unit by emphasizing teamwork. They're collaborative and focused on their team's emotional needs. This type of leader motivates by creating a positive personal relationship. And I think this trait is very accurate with how I try to lead project teams at work. I want my teams to be very collaborative. I want everybody to feel like they can provide input, feel open, and feel like they have their say and that what they say is considered. Similarly, this attribute really ties to how I coach. I find that the personal relationships I develop with the kids and the emotional intelligence I've gathered really help me to understand what buttons to push to motivate each kid. And on the flip side, that trust and that relationship we've built really helps when it's time to have a more serious conversation about performance. And the third highest attribute was altruistic. The altruistic leader personalizes their approach to the individual and empowers team members. They focus on active listening and empathy and lead in order to better serve. These traits are all very on brand with how I try to lead, especially the part about empowerment. I believe the best way to engage members of the team is to give them the freedom to complete their tasks in the way that they feel is most effective. This trait also carries over. I see a lot of it in my personal life at home with my kids. I like to give my kids the freedom to make decisions and then they can live with those results. And I feel that's important now when some of the decisions are, the biggest decisions they make on whether they can have a piece of candy or stay up later, because as they develop and get older and their actions have larger consequences, I want them to be able to have that peace of mind that one, they're going to be able to make decisions. And if they make the wrong decision, they can always come to me for help. So overall, I'd say the Pathways Leadership Quiz was pretty accurate with how I feel I am as a leader. And it's helped me understand why I do what I do in my professional life, in my coaching, and at home. And while confirmation of what I've been doing in both my personal and professional life is great, I feel the true value of this leadership quiz comes from what it tells me about the weaknesses of my leadership style. For example, one area where my leadership style isn't as effective is when the person being mentored is adverse to change. And I see this in particular with one kid on my basketball team. And of course, it's the kid that needs the most instruction. But so far, I just haven't been able to get through to him. And now I realize that maybe it's not his attitude, maybe it's the way that I'm coaching him. So I can take a step back, try something different, see if there's more effective ways to motivate him or to coach him and to get him where he needs to be. And there's going to be times in my professional career as well where my leadership style won't be the style that's necessary for the needs of the team or certain individuals. And now that I'm aware of that, I can be much more open to adjusting and to molding myself to the needs of the team. And so maybe I'll talk more about the weaknesses of my leadership style in a upcoming speech. Thank you.